Hi, everyone. My name is Nurilov, and I'm here to show you the internet weather for this week. We'll start with our usual top 10 most pro ports. As you could see from this list, if you are a constant viewer of internet weather, things haven't significantly changed. We have all the usual top 10 ports that are being scanned. I will want to cover the scanning against GRE today, just to give a little bit of an update on that from the previous weeks. The other way we like to look at scanning activity is by IP addresses that are engaged in the most scanning. Usually it helps us to identify botnet activity. I noticed something pop in here that I haven't seen for a while. It's port 139 TCP, commonly associated with NetBIOS and SMB, or part of the SMB stack. And I just wanted to take a moment to see what the scanning activity looks like on that port. So, going back to GRE, I think we noticed maybe 2-3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, really increased scanning on this port. On this protocol. GRE is a tunneling protocol. I believe with IPsec it's commonly used. And you could see that sometime on, I think that was September 10th, scanning really picked up. And looking at who is behind the scanning or how many devices are contributing to the scanning, it's very interesting because it's basically coordinated scanning from thousands of devices per hour. They do follow this downward trend, so it looks like the scanning is on the downward slope, and it probably represents some sort of a botnet threat out there. So looking back maybe a few weeks ago, just when the scanning was kind of beginning, just like at the very beginning of the scanning before it spiked up, this is where a majority of the scanning was coming from. But looking today and trying to kind of see like what are all of the scanners that have been involved in scanning on the GRE protocol, we see that the activity is much more worldwide. Not too worldwide as we see with some other threats. We could certainly see a fair amount of scanning emanating out of Asia, Europe, and I think a pretty heavy presence here in the United States as well. So it's something that we're going to continue keeping our eye on to try and understand what is the threat behind all of this scanning and what it might mean. The other activity that I thought was interesting was the scanning on port 139 TCP. But looking at it over the last 60 days, we can see it follows a pretty regular scanning pattern, actually. In fact, there's thousands of devices doing it at all times, but it's pretty predictable. There's no major increase or decrease in this activity that we can say with 100% certainty that something's happened. Out of curiosity, though, I decided to figure out, like in the last day, what were all the IP addresses engaged in this activity? And there were over 5,000 IPs that are engaged in this, that are worldwide. But you could see a super heavy presence in the northern part of South America there. You could see a very heavy presence in Asia. Not as heavy in the United States, but also pretty heavy in the Middle East as well. So whatever is behind this scanning, it's kind of worldwide, but it's interesting to see also that it's a slightly different, I would say, geographical distribution than the scanning coming for looking for GRE. With that, I'd say that's it for the internet weather this week. It's pretty interesting to see, how global scanning is, and we'll try to see if we can dive in a little bit deeper into the threats behind this activity next week or in future episodes. If you have a suggestion for a port that we should highlight or look at or investigate deeper, please feel free to reach out to us with your suggestion. If you have better explanation for what's causing the scanning on GRE or for GRE or port 139 TCP, of course, we'd love to hear from you, your thoughts, your ideas, and try to incorporate them into the research we're going to do. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed this week's Internet Weather.